Hi, hello, how are you? It's time to talk about my favorite things from the Apple event that happened literally weeks ago, but it's okay, it's fine. We've got the Mac Studio, the Studio Display, and the brand new M1 Ultra chip. Let's talk about it. By the way, little disclaimer, I went to a rock concert last night to go see Dorothy. If you've never checked her out, she was fantastic. My ears are still ringing, so I apologize if I'm yelling. So I don't know if anybody feels this way, but the Mac Studio, when they announced it and they were talking about it, I was shook. I feel like Apple has given us essentially two options when it comes to every single line of their products, right? For the iPhone, we have the SE version, which is just a base model. If you want a higher end model and you're willing to fit that into your budget, then you have the Pro versions, right? You have some lower end models. You have the baseline iPhone 13 in a beautiful green color now, by the way. You have that option. However, the price point is still pretty steep, and the capabilities between the Pro and just the standard iPhone is not too terribly much. If you want to dive into the details, there is a staggering difference between the two models. However, they are not so different from one another that it just like justifies it for me. It doesn't make sense. It's not that happy medium step, which is why I think the Mac Studio is so cool. You have the Mac Mini, which now has the M1 chip in it, by the way, which is a great price. It's very affordable. If you're looking for the Mac OS experience and you're looking for an incredible performance with Apple Silicon, then the Mac Mini is perfect. Then you have the Mac Pro, which is a beast of all beasts. You can spec her out to be, I believe, over $50,000. So your average person who needs to send a few emails and upload a few pictures is not going to need to spend that kind of money, and it's not going to need that kind of computing power. However, for your creative professionals who do not need that kind of ridiculous CPU and GPU output performance, who do not need to render incredibly crazy projects, right? And also doesn't have that kind of coin to spend, the Mac Studio is perfect. It's that happy medium, right? It's a good price point. It just makes sense for content creators or people who are professional photographers, videographers, anybody who needs a higher computing power than the average person and wants a smooth experience through and through. It's a perfect device. It's so cool. Like, again, it's something that I feel like we didn't know that we needed, and now it's here. Oh my goodness. The M1 Ultra chip, let's talk about that. I think what shocks me most about the M1 Ultra is if you look at some of the schematics on Apple's website, you see that the M1 Ultra chip outperforms the Mac Pro, which is just mind-blowing in terms of computing performance. They were able to make or create the M1 Ultra chip based on this very unique die-to-die connection banding between two M1 Max chips. So specifics to the M1 Ultra chip, if you missed it, 20-core CPU, up to 64-core GPU, up to 128 gigabytes of unified memory. If you don't know what that is, we're gonna talk about that. And the girls who get it, the girls who don't, they don't. Unified memory simply refers to the way that the CPU and the GPU talk to each other. The computing performance and the graphics performance, they need to work at the same time. And they're able to share the memory, and they're able to look at the same data to reduce redundancy, to make your machine faster. 800 gigabytes per second of memory bandwidth. Ooh, girl. It's powerful. It's ridiculously powerful. I understand that some content creators who were able to get their hands on a Mac Studio first are incredibly impressed, as they should be. The design of the Mac Studio, I think, makes sense. The one thing that I do agree with that I have heard a couple people say as far as feedback is concerned about the design is that on the very front of the display, if your base model for the Mac Studio contains an M1 Max chip, on the front you're gonna get two USB-C ports and one SD card slot. If you want to upgrade and get yourself the M1 Ultra chip incorporated into your Mac Studio, then on the front you're gonna get two Thunderbolt 4 ports along with the SD card slot. One piece of feedback that I agree with is that if that's gonna be the front of your device, it makes sense that the audio jack, a 3.5mm plug-in, is on the front. If you're having the Mac Studio there and you want to plug in some headphones, it just makes intuitive sense, in my opinion, for my personal preference, to just plug her in. That's all I've got to say about the Mac Studio. You know, she starts at a base model, I believe, of $1999 with the M1 Max chip. This incorporates a 10-core CPU, a 24-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine. And then again, the upgraded model with the M1 Ultra chip starts from a 20-core CPU, 48-core GPU, and 32-core neural engine. Woo! At $39.99. So that, in my opinion, based on its performance and what you can do with the Mac Studio and the Ultra chip, it's a pretty good starting price. Okay. Let's talk about the Studio Display. Woo! I'm so excited because I have my own Studio Display on its way. Ooh, girl. Hopefully she gets here soon, and as soon as it does, I'm going to set it up. I'm so excited because my one and only external monitor that I've ever had is great, by the way. It's a 4K display from Samsung. It's on its own stand, and I was debating of getting a stand, and I know that there are 2 different iterations of the stand that you can get with Studio Display, but I decided to go with the VESA. Is it VESA? No way. Is it Visa?
Visa.
Solutions, we're going to be talking about Visa. Now, if you're planning on...
Okay, you didn't hear me pronounce it like that. I digress. Ever since the XDRs launched, I was just like, okay, that's my goal. That is my dream, is to be able to afford and have an XDR display in my place of work. And now we have something that I can actually get my hands on. She's pretty good size. She's beefy. She's 27 inches, 5K Retina display. My desk, by the way, is going through a transformation. That will be a whole nother video, but like this is just so beautiful. It has a true tone display. You're able to get the display either in an anti-reflective coating or the nano texture glass, which I decided to get the nano texture just to switch it up a little bit. It has a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with center stage, a 3 mic array with a 6 speaker sound system with spatial audio, which is so cool. On the back, you have 3 USB-C ports and 1 Thunderbolt 3 port, and that is it. What really sold me was the camera and the speakers. The XDR displays don't even have a camera or speakers, which is wild. Let's talk about prices real quick. Let's talk about specs. The configurations are very different depending upon if you want to get yourself a stand that just has a fore and aft rotation on the tilt. Or you can also get a stand that has a fore and aft rotation on the tilt and a height adjustable feature on the stand as well. Standard glass starts at $15.99 and nano texture starts at $18.99. The tilt adjustable stand with the standard glass is actually the exact same price. Now, if you want the standard glass, the tilt and height adjustable stand will bump you up to a total of $19.99. Now, the nano texture glass is the same concept. Just the tilt adjustable stand and the Visa mount adapter are the same price at $18.99, and with the adjustable height, you're going to be paying a grand total of $22.99. I can't wait to do the full rundown of my experience with the Studio Display once I have it in my hands. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking your time to sit down with me. I hope you have the day that you deserve. I will see you when I see you. XO. Bye.